Yes, you read that correctly. I was actually robbed, physically robbed by a real estate agent. I couldn't be happier that it happened. I just did a video about this the other day and I wanted to bring it up on a morning meeting. So, with that in mind, welcome to today's morning meeting. I'm Greg Luther, the one guy that meets with you every single day to help you in growing your real estate business. And man, do I have a story for you. I've been in the business less than a year at the time, and I got robbed by an agent right there in my own office. I want to tell you a little story about this. I did another video about it, but I think it bears repeating here for those of you that follow every day and want to make sure you're growing your business in the right way. Because I literally was asked for my wallet and my money taken from me, and it was the greatest thing that ever happened to me. So when I was a licensed agent, 1999, I first got my license and was struggling like a lot of agents do. And there was a top producer in the office that did extremely well. He'd been doing it for a long time. His name was Ed. And he was doing a lot of business on a consistent basis. And I was always kind of pestering him with questions. How am I going to make it in this business? Well, after about 6 months or so, he was having some very good success with a phone conversation he was having with some of his past clients. Now, again, this was 24 years ago, right? So he was having past clients' sphere of influence. He would have a phone call with them that got him out to their house, and he ended up listing their property. This kept happening over and over. So I asked him for the script. He wrote it down in detail on a Microsoft Word and printed it off for me and showed me exactly what to say. So I was very excited to get that, and he couldn't be happier to help me. He says, "I know you got what it takes, young man. I know you're going to be successful." I was probably 21 at the time, 22, something like that. And he knew it was going to help me. Well, I got busy doing the things that I do, and I never did anything with that script that he gave me. So about 2 weeks later, I see him passing in the hallway, and he says, "Greg, how you been doing with that script? How many listings have you taken?" I said, "Man, I've been studying it. I've been reviewing it over and over. I've actually role played it in the mirror. I've done all of that." He said, "How many people have you called?" I said, "I've called nobody." He's like, "Well, what have you done with the script?" "Well, I'm still rehearsing. I'm still getting ready." And I could just see disappointment on his face that, like, he's trying to help me and I'm not doing what I'm supposed to do. I could just tell, right? So I'm making all kind of BS excuses. And over the course of the next couple of weeks, anytime I'd see him, it just didn't feel the same. It's like, it almost felt like he knew I had a lot of potential, but I wasn't going to do shit with it, right? So I felt like I'd let him down. Well, after a couple of weeks went by, I just kind of got used to this is the new norm. And I start having conversations with him, and he's going, he goes out in the evening, he comes in the next morning, got 2 new listings, got 3 new listings. I listed 1 last night. He just keeps crushing it out there, and I can't figure out what he's doing. Well, he's got some scripts that he's using with his past clients. He's got some postcards he's using with geographic farming. He's doing all of this stuff while I start doing some open houses for him on Sunday. His sellers are bothering him. He doesn't want to do open houses, so he has me do them. So I'm kind of doing him a favor, right? Well, after a couple of weeks of me doing that, I think after my 3rd open house, he comes in and he says, "You've been asking me for all these scripts and what I do and what I say and all of that. I recorded this tape for you to show you how to do it." Now, this was back when video camcorders were on your shoulder. You remember those days? He came in with literally a VHS tape. What do they call it? A VCR tape. And he handed it to me. And he said, "I want you to watch this every single day until the tape breaks." And I was like, "Okay, absolutely, man. Thank you so much for recording this for me." He's like, "I had my wife hold the camera. I literally went through this whole process just like I was sitting at the kitchen table, but I want you to watch it every single day." I said, "Man, thank you so much, Ed. This is like lifesaver for me. I didn't know if I was going to make it in this business." He says, "One more thing. Give me your wallet." So, "What do you mean, give you my wallet?" He said, "Give me your wallet." "Okay." He says, "I'm taking half of the money that you have in your wallet." I said, "Well, you can't do that because that's all I have. There's 0 in my checking account. My credit cards are maxed. I have not, that's literally what I have." He said, "I gave you shit last time and you didn't do anything with it because you had nothing invested. I don't know what you have in here. It might be $20. It might be 20,000. I'm taking half of it because we're going to fix your business." So I remember to this day, I had $754. So he had to actually go down to the front desk. He made change with the secretary that was there. He took $377 from me. $377. Now, to me at that time, that was everything. That was like my whole livelihood. How am I going to eat for the next month until my deal closes? I had one HUD contract, a government-owned foreclosure that was in contract. I was going to get 4% on that deal, so that was a good one. But I'm thinking, how in the world am I going to make this happen? Well, because I invested so much in myself, unknowingly to me, I watched that video once or twice a day. I'd watch it over and over, and then I'd actually implement it because I had no choice, because it was going to make me successful. I have to make this work, and I'll be damned. That's exactly what happened. I became one of the top producers in the city, then the state, then the country. I started outselling him, and he could not be prouder of what he did. Of course, I made sure that was right with him as well. But that's why, fast forwarding to today, 24 years later, I've been coaching realtors for decades. That's why my inner circle coaching is $377. Everybody always asks me, why is it a weird number? Nobody ever does 77. Why is it priced the way it is? That's why it's been that way. And for over a decade, employees that have been with me are like, Greg, everything's going up. We got to go up 10%. You got to raise it a little bit, at least go up 5%. You got inflation. You got cost of living increase. You got to keep rate. 377 works because I know what it did for me. I know what it did to change my mindset so I would actually use the things I was invested in. And I've never raised it one time in decades. I mean, think about it. 5% to 10% a year, we'd be at $1,000 a month right now. I want agents that have $754 to their name. Give me half of it. I'm going to make you be successful. That's the reason I've done all the way up to this date. I could have thousands and thousands of members give me $1,000 a month. No, thank you. I know what it's going to do if you go about it the right way. Now, fast forwarding to today, every single day, we get at least a dozen people. Greg, if you'll let me do it for free, let me try out your system and see if it works, and we'll take the money out of what I am able to close. I'll pay you after I close. If your program is so good, this is because they've been burned so many times. But let me assure you, if I write it up on a Word document and I give it to you, promise, no matter how bad you want it, you won't do shit. You'll keep studying it, doing some more research, getting ready to get ready, checking out the next thing. You're in education mode. Sometimes you got to stop with the learn and drop the L. It's time to stop with learn and start to earn. And that only happens when you're invested in yourself. And I've told every single person that's ever sent me that information, I refuse to do it because I know it's not going to help you. We've tried it for decades. We've tried it a couple times a year. Sob story, mom's sick, brother's dying, whatever. We do all of that stuff because I feel for those people. I know life happens. I know how stressful it is. But 100, you would think those people would be more motivated to take action. Like you're going to save your parents' life or something? You can pay for things that's going to keep them alive for longer, and they don't do it. They keep making excuses. Enough is enough. So that's the reason I created it that way in the first place. And that's the reason I make sure everybody invests in themselves, because I know what's going to happen if it's stress for you, if it's tough for you. And that's why for so many agents, once they start doing great, they say, Greg, what's next? What else how can I get more access to? How can I get to one-on-one with you? How can I get to the platinum program? How can I get into the legacy group? That's the reason that happens. When they spend a full day with me, nobody signs up with me for a full day, what we call our blueprint day. Nobody signs up for me and gives me $9,000 for one day with me, unless they started with, here's the VHS tape, that VCR. Here it is. Watch it every day. Implement it, make some money. When you start making money, how much is $9,000? Less than one closing, maybe one closing. So if I get somebody closing lots of business, they have no problem doing that. That's the reason we're set up the way we are. So I want you to think about, in your real estate business, how can you ensure your client gets to their desired goal? How can you make sure their BS excuses stay out of the way because it's keeping them from reaching their results? That's what I had to do with my clients, with the agents that I work with. Well, listen, you know what your homeowners say. I want to think about it. We're not sure yet. We want to interview other people. We want to wait a couple of years. I think we're going to sit on our home for a couple of years here. We want to wait on rates to go down and home prices to crash. Well, wouldn't that be genius? Let me tell you something. If rates go down, home prices will go up another 100,000. Bet your money on it. You better hope rates don't go down. You got to know how to consult your clients the right way. There is a 100% chance if rates go down, home prices go up. 100. We already don't have enough houses for the buyers that can afford to buy. You say more people will afford to buy and prices will go down? No, they're fighting over them now. So I want you to know how to consult with your clients and how to, maybe you do a little bit of story selling for them as well to explain why you operate the way you do. But I know that's what created success for me, and it's created success for thousands of agents around the country with our Inner Circle coaching program. Every single time I provide lots of free stuff for them, but we know they aren't going to do anything with it. They'll keep telling me how great it is. Greg, your stuff's amazing. Oh my gosh, I love all your stuff. I can't believe how much you give away for how much money are you making from this? What are you really doing here? Are you a professional student? Are you just excited to learn? Or are you going to drop the L? That won't happen until you actually invest in yourself. I am living proof of that. And tens of millions of dollars later, I'm glad the guy robbed me. I can literally say that is the best thing that's ever happened to me. Now, I'll say I agree, I understand. I wouldn't have called the cops on him. I knew what he was doing. He damn sure didn't need the $377. He probably had 20, 25 listings at the time. A little different market back then, right? He had 20 or 25 listings. He didn't even need the money. But he knew what was going to happen there. And I would say, fast forwarding to what happened at the end, I would say 4 or 5 months after that happened, he just kind of jokingly, tongue in cheek, he said, "You want your money back?" No, let me give you 10 times that much for what you did for me. So Ed, he has since passed away, but he changed the course of my life by forcing me to invest in myself when I thought I didn't have the money. And I try and share that with others today. Hopefully that message is of service to you. Follow our page here. Ring the bell, turn on notifications. Check out the links in the video description below. I think you have to click more or something like that. Open up the video description underneath here. There's going to be some links that will help you. I'll give you as much free stuff as you want. You let me know when you're ready to make some money. Talk soon. Bye-bye for now.